What is going on, everybody? Hopefully you can see me. We've had a little bit of trouble getting this going, so let me know if the audio and video looks all good to you guys, and hopefully some people join up to this. Otherwise, it'll just be me chatting with myself as normal. But yeah, today is National Keto Day, guys, and because of some of the agreements that I had with Enlightened Ice Cream, I couldn't announce in a previous video what exactly we were giving away. But today we are giving away the full Enlightened Keto collection, which is 7 pints and 4 boxes of bars of Enlightened Ice Cream. So that's actually a pretty expensive giveaway, believe it or not. Now, if you guys go to my Instagram at Black Sheep Keto, we are doing this as an Instagram giveaway just for the simple fact that it's a lot easier for me to contact you and keep your personal information private via, DMs, and YouTube's not as great about that. So if you are interested free Enlightened Ice Cream, go ahead to Instagram.com and then or open the app on your phone, whatever, and look for Black Sheep Keto, and it'll be a post on there. All you guys have to do is like the photo, follow us, and leave a comment. Other than that, looks like there's a few people joining in. How's everybody doing this morning? Cool. Well, also figured, as I mentioned in the last video, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my plans for this year because obviously I put on a little bit of weight this year, and that was intentional. I decided after losing a bunch of weight that I gotten a little bit scrawny, a little bit thin, and wanted to really just kind of go on a pretty good bulk. And that kind of involves putting on some fat, which I wasn't happy about. And it's actually been like mentally hard for me accepting like that I needed to put on weight. But this last year I went through that, put on over 200 pounds to my deadlift, and just strength gains were awesome, which was the goal of putting on weight. But now it's time to remove all that extra fat that I put on in the process. So I'm actually starting a cut right here along with a lot of you guys. And also I'm getting married in June, so it'll be nice to thin out for that. But I also really want to compete in a physique show this year. Like NACA has the National Athletic Keto Association. They have their own like physique shows. Looking at doing that in either May or October. I think May is going to be a little bit close because I'm going island hopping in the Caribbean in April, and then getting married in June. So like that whole time is going to be chaos. But I think October is going to be a lot more realistic for me to do that. But yeah, beyond that, my goals this year, I really just want to grow this channel. I'm hoping we can hit 100,000 this year. I know that's a very optimistic goal, being that we are at 30,000. By the way, guys, 30,000 subs as of today, probably. And that is a very awesome thing. So if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate that. But for those of you tuning in, the Instagram giveaway is up and live. All you have to do, head over to Instagram, look for Black Sheep Keto. It'll be my post. You'll see all the information there. I only have one day to do it. They wouldn't let me span this multiple days, but it'll be announced at 8:30 p.m. Pacific tonight. I'll choose a winner and get it out to you guys. Let's see. Olivia Hopkins, I'm doing well. How about yourself? Let's see. We all know who that is. She'll probably be moderating and all this, but she's downstairs helping me out with the live stream. Let's see. Congratulations. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. This channel's been a lot of learning for me, and a lot of things that I'm not comfortable with. Doing this live actually is like terrifying to me, because at least when I have a video camera in front of me, if I screw up and like scream profanities at the camera, I can totally edit it out. When it's live, I really can't do that. So I'm just gonna have to watch it a little bit. Let's see. Have you ever plateaued when you were on keto? If so, what did you do to continue being on ketosis? Yeah, I did many times, actually. It's actually a pretty normal occurrence. If you look at my weight graphs, like my scale tracks to my phone, it actually looks like a step graph. It kind of does this thing. And that's just the way my body behaves. Usually you just kind of got to trust the process, and it eventually will happen. What happens is you lose weight, you can actually retain a little bit more water in those fat cells, and eventually your body just says screw it and disposes of all that weight. They refer to it as the whoosh effect if you like want to Google it for better information. But that can happen. Also, as you lose weight, you will have to taper off your calories. So sometimes that can cause a plateau. If you lose 50 pounds, your body doesn't need as many calories as it did when you were 50 pounds heavier. So you will want to like adjust your macros every once in a while. Me personally, on this cut that I'm doing this year, every other week, I'm dropping it by 50 calories. I just kind of plan mine out ahead of time and use that as like a baseline. That way there's no really figuring it out. I suppose if I were to plateau sooner, or if I was still losing weight at a rapid pace, I wouldn't actually decrease it. But that's typically my game plan. Other things that you can do, sometimes if you've just been in a deficit too long, your body really fights you on it. So just take a day, and you can do it keto totally, but just up your calories back up to your maintenance level, and just really get your body nourished again. And sometimes that'll help you start losing weight again. You just trick it into thinking it's getting enough food, and then it'll let you lose a little more. Thank you for that question, by the way. I love this mug too, by the way, guys. I got this from KetoCon. Like the best thing ever. It's a company called Strong Coffee. Really cool. I was just hanging out talking to the guy, and it turned out he was like Adam Rothfelder, is like a celebrity trainer on all sorts of television. I'd never met the guy, but he was super cool, and ended up talking about his coffee company. And I decided to buy a mug from them because, who doesn't want a mug that says "Wake the F Up" on it? Anybody else got any questions? We can take a few more of those. Couple of the things that we're doing this year, guys. I'm actually working on a couple other things. I want to actually start like a food company. There's a lot of recipes that I make that some people have asked, me to sell. And I'm working with a few people. Some of my sauces I'm working on licensing with another company so that they'll produce them for me. I'm a busy person. I have a full-time job. I write software full-time. So it's really hard for me to find time to do this stuff, but licensing my recipes to other people to create them to where you guys, don't necessarily have to make it yourself. You can just purchase one is on the list of things to do this year. Let's see, new question came in. How do you stay motivated during a cut? Very hard. So the reality of it is cutting sucks. Like there's no good way to put it, especially initially you're hungry. You just aren't feeling 100%. You're restricting your calories when you're used to eating whatever you wanted. But at the end of the day, for me, I have that end goal in mind, and it all comes down to dedication. And when dedication isn't enough, it's just you got to build that habit, So you'll sit there and go, okay, I want to lose 50 pounds by the end of next year or whatever the case may be. You really have to break that down into a step process and say, okay, you know what? If I need to lose this many pounds per week, and that goal, that focusing on that really helps me out. Another thing, I mentioned this in the last video that I posted. A lot of people are opposed to cheat days. I'm not opposed to them. People who are cutting, sometimes you really just need that mental break. And, maybe once a month, every 2 months, every 3 months, whatever, like having that food that you're just absolutely craving can totally just help with morale a lot. A lot of people that I coach, I have them keep a little notebook, and every time they sit there and crave something like to the point where they're ready to break keto, I have them write it down. And, come that point in their cut, maybe 2-3 months apart, they'll just have that food. And most of the time they're actually super disappointed, which I find to be absolutely hilarious, but that helps them out a lot. Camera not focusing there. Thank you for that question. So other things I want to do for 2020, we are looking at making some kind of like funny keto t-shirts. There's some cool keto brands out there like Live Savage and stuff like that, but I'm a funny guy. I like to kind of poke fun at stuff. So I was sitting there thinking, well, it'd be fun to kind of start some t-shirt stuff that's more of humory. There is some stuff down in the Teespring below, but it's mostly just my logos, and I threw them out there when I was just trying to get everything set up. But we're working on probably like 30 different designs right now for that. Beyond that, for next year, guys, we've got a ton of recipes coming out. I think I got like 65, 70 of them that I actually have pretty much pre-written. And that's going to help me kind of stay consistent with you guys. In addition to that, I'm working on some collabs with the Keto Jinja and just a bunch of people. It'll be a really big 2020 for me. Hey, Misty, how's it going? Beyond that, guys, KetoCon this year. If you're all going to be there, let me know. We are going. We loved it last year. It was a really good time, very informational, a lot of cool vendors. And honestly, my favorite part was actually the people. We met so many great people that I've kept in contact with since. Some of them have actually come out to Vegas and hung out with us. So we will definitely be at KetoCon. That is probably one of the only expos I'm going to this year that I'm aware of so far. Obviously, I will be at a NACA event because I plan on competing in one of them, but I don't have a date on that yet. But just keep posted and I'll let you guys know. Let's see. We have another question in there. What are your favorite types of recipes to create? Honestly, I'm much better at like meals. Lately, you see me doing a lot of sweets, baked goods, that kind of stuff. And that's really because it was the holiday season. For me, honestly, I love to just create like dinner dishes because it's not as precise. Like baking, especially with keto ingredients, it's a complete science to it. And screwing things up is really easy to do. And I fail a ton and it costs me a ton of money. But the dinner dishes where I can just like go through my pantry and say, okay, here's what I have, and just kind of chop it up, throw it in a pan, and it turns out pretty good, are my absolute favorites. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad, because I'll make something just by throwing it together, and I'll be like, wow, that's really good. I should turn that into a recipe, and I have no idea what I put in it. So I've been starting to like keep a little notebook, and I even just got like a audio recorder that I can sit there and talk into as I'm making these dishes. That way I know what I actually put in them. But yeah, actual like main courses are really my favorite. Now, that being said, baked goods are awesome, and I still have a few things coming out. I'm working on some crackers, just various stuff like that. I just got a new shipment of something called Miracle Flour. It's Lupin Flour, which I've never messed with before, but the texture of it well, one of my bags exploded in shipping. So everything was covered in it, but the texture of it feels like a very fine grained flour. And I'm very excited to see how that works in baked goods. So a little sneak peek there on some of the things that I'll be working on. Also, I've mentioned it a few times. I am going to be doing that keto, like making it keto series is what I'm tentatively calling it, where I'm going to sit there and go through all of the things you need to know to make any recipe keto. And then in the final video, I'm going to take a suggestion from one of you guys and we're just going to do it live, like try to convert it. And it usually, with the way I do it, you get pretty close. You may have to tweak it a couple times, but that is coming out for you guys also in 2020. If anybody out there has any questions about keto, new starters, anything like that, let me know. I'm happy to answer any of those. I know that crash course I did was like very high level view, and that was kind of the point because I could spend 3 hours talking about all the intricacies of keto. But if you guys have any specific questions, let me know. Just get a drink real quick. So other cool stuff I'm working on this year. We mentioned all the new recipes, the expos. A couple things that I want to do is I want to start doing this live stuff more. I think it's a really cool way to engage with you guys. Obviously, this is the first time I've done it, which is kind of surprising since I've been on YouTube for 2 years now, a little over 2 years, and have about 30,000 subscribers. But I find that videos for me are a lot more convenient, just the chaos of my life. I can sit there and film them, edit them, upload them when I'm traveling or whatever. But I think this way is really cool to engage with you guys and really see what you want. Additionally, if you guys haven't seen, I reworked the website and there's a cool option on there where you can request a recipe if I don't have anything that you want. So that's another thing that's pretty big for this year. So a little bit more about my plans for like my personal weight loss this year. I plan on trying to get down to about, well, under 10% body fat. That is my goal this year. I spent the whole last year pretty much bulking. Put on some really good size, which I'm quite happy with. I'd planned on cutting last year, but then I started training at this new powerlifting facility, and I really just got this bug to try to lift really heavy weights, and it really actually helped me out a lot, and I've put on a lot more muscle. I feel like I look a lot better at this weight than I did on my way down. Again, it was a little bit tricky for me mentally to put on the weight, again, just to put on some strength. But my body fat percentage actually isn't that bad right now. It's up to about 18%, and I'm a little over 240, so I think that's like awesome. And if we do the math, if I want to get under 10% body fat, like let's just say I want to get to 8 for easy math, I've only got to lose 10% of my weight. So that's 24 pounds with extra muscle loss of probably like 26, 27 to get me at 8% body fat. I'm super excited there. Let's see, a couple questions. Are there any sweeteners that you dislike? Yeah, a lot of them. There's a few things. It's probably easier to go with the list that I like. I like stevia, monk fruit, allulose, erythritol. Those are the ones that I'm really fond of right now. There's a couple other things you can use, but stuff like xylitol, I don't really like because it's toxic to pets. And like people that have pets, like if you accidentally spill it on the ground, you can kill them. That's not really good. Plus the glycemic index is not 0. I hate things like maltitol because it's just like, it's about half the glycemic index of sugar. So you're not really doing much for yourself when eating that. There's a lot of things out there that are there to trick you. But what I like to do is just go on the internet. If I see a sweetener that I'm not familiar with and look up the glycemic index of it, I want to see like 0, 1, 2, like as low as possible. And when the new ones come out, I do like to experiment with them. I took a video a while back, I don't know if you guys saw it, where I drank 50 grams of allulose, which is an absurd amount. But I was just trying to prove a point that this stuff will not mess with your blood sugar at all. And it doesn't actually like mess with my stomach either, which is really cool. That's probably my favorite one right now because it's the closest thing to like resembling sugar. But yeah, ones I really hate, like maltitol, maltodextrin, all that kind of stuff where it's got a really high glycemic index. It bothers me that they put that in keto food. Let's see. What is your favorite keto go-to when you're short on time? Tacos. That's like in terms of like something to make at home. I've always got ground beef in the fridge or freezer, and I can quickly just throw that together. Literally just throw it in a pan with some spices, and I'll make a taco bowl. I buy my guacamole pre-made from Sam's Club, so that's really easy just to cook up the meat. So throw some cheese, sour cream, guacamole, and I can get plenty of calories in that way. Lunch items, I really have been just taking like Kiss My Keto bars lately or keto shakes. Be careful with the keto shakes, depending on who you get them from. They can have a bunch of crap in it that you don't want. I like the ones from American Metabolics. But yeah, that's what I do for lunch is either Kiss My Keto bars or American Metabolics. Or I've even been going to Sam's Club lately and buying like pre-boiled packaged eggs because I don't want to have to peel them at work, and I'll just bring those with me. So that's kind of my lunch plan. I don't really do breakfast too much. Sometimes on the weekend I will, but it's mostly just lunch and dinners for me. Let's see. Let's see, any other questions? Nope, I think I got all of them there. If you guys are just joining, just want to let you guys know what's going on. Today is National Keto Day, and I pretty much hit 30,000 subscribers today, so it worked out almost perfectly. So I partnered up with Enlightened, and we are giving away the entire collection. That is all the bars, all of the pints, everything like that. Check out my Instagram at Black Sheep Keto, and it'll have all of the details there. Hey, it's Santa. What's up, man? Santa's been following me forever, dude. This guy is like the best. Make sure you check out his Instagram and channel. He's like totally like one of my like best subscribers. I swear the guy comments on everything. So thank you for joining in, Santa. How do I stay keto at restaurants? Look it up ahead of time. Almost all restaurants will have a nutrition menu online, and I can go through there and find what I need and how to make it work, how to modify it. And I found that most places work with you when you ask for it. I mean, like we were at a place, I think it was called Three Forks. It was right across from KetoCon. And for dessert, we had actually asked them to whip cream without sugar in it. And they literally like whipped cream and berries, just like straight cream, no sugar in it at all. And it was fantastic. So I find that people work with you if you ask for it. So that definitely helps me stay keto at restaurants. Let's see. Santa says, Happy New Year, brother. Got a creamy chicken broccoli cheese soup in the Instant Pot. Little cold here in Georgia today. Take care. Remember, ho, 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 go keto. Thank you, Santa, man. I hope that that chicken broccoli soup turns out awesome. I've actually been thinking about doing like a broccoli cheddar soup, but if you're releasing a recipe for that, let me know. Let's see. Ragnar, congrats. Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Do you plan on doing live cooking tutorials? I've thought about doing a live cook along. Actually, I just haven't figured it out. Like right now we're set up on my computer, and I've spent a lot of money last month, like almost probably $3,000 on new camera equipment so that I can do live stuff. So I got like a lapel mic with a wireless receiver, and we're working on ways to set up the cameras to where they can transmit to YouTube. That way I can have someone with a camera following me around the kitchen. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Just like do a live cook along, especially if it's something that I've never made before, or I'm like trying to convert something more of like a behind the scenes thing. I think it'd be really cool to do. My only concern is I don't know how interactive I'd be able to do with the stream, because like I'm obviously focusing on what I'm doing. So I'd have to have whoever's got the camera like reading out comments to me or something. But that is in the works. I don't know when it'll happen, but we're definitely working on getting something like that set up shortly. Let's see. Santa says, thank you, sir. I want to comment on the real people that I know and they're talking about, and you are one of them. Well, thank you, Santa. Make sure you check him out, guys. Santa, go ahead and put your Instagram in the comments there. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you've changed it a couple times. But check him out. He's an awesome guy. Other things coming on this year, guys. Obviously, I mentioned I just got a whole bunch of new camera equipment, and that means I'm trying to kind of diversify the way that I make videos. I've obviously went from knowing nothing and shooting everything on my cell phone to now I've got like a whole shelf of camera gear and new lenses coming in all the time. And I wanted to be able to do a little more vloggy type stuff, do a little bit more real world stuff. I feel like lately I've only been doing recipes, and some of that's just me being busy. Some of that's just not having inspiration for much other stuff. But I've decided, like, if I have ways to record out in public, like this recorder here can take a mic that hooks to my lapel, and I can record without having the big boom mics, which is a lot better for recording in public. Having the big boom mic, you pick up so much ambient noise and wind. It's just horrible. So we wanted to solve that problem. That way, like, I can go to a park and do something, or, whatever. We wanted to open the doors there. So I've got a whole bunch of new lenses, so hopefully I can get better shots. I'm starting to work with the GoPro to where you can actually see me while I'm filming. I just bought a green screen, actually, because when I started doing that, putting me in the corner, I didn't like that like box around me. So we bought a green screen to set up behind me while we're doing that. This actually December has just been big for acquiring new stuff and me trying to figure out how to use it all. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this live stream. Let's see. Ragnar, have you tried making anything with Lupin Flour? There are a couple of pasta recipes you've been using lupin, gelatin, and egg on YouTube. Yeah, so I haven't tried anything yet. Actually, I just got the package in yesterday. I'm working on trying some things with it. I think it'd be good in a cracker. Yesterday we tried to make some chicken dumplings that were pretty interesting. I got a few things to tweak on that, but I think that'll work well. The recipes that I've seen using Lupin Flour for noodles, it was like predominantly cream cheese with like the recipe I think had like 3 teaspoons of Lupin Flour in it, which is actually weird because it's just a tablespoon. But regardless, it looked like it was like a cream cheese base with some flour thrown in there just to say they used it. but I'll have to check that out. Do you know who posted that? I can definitely take a look at it and see, and maybe just try to make some. I'm always after pasta recipe, guys. I've tried and tried and tried. Some of my pasta has been great, some of it hasn't. I've gone through like 4 or 5 iterations over the years. I think the best one that I have is that dried one that uses flax as a base. The fresh one I had, people have had problems with. Usually, I find that's because they either don't like the taste of husk powder or they rolled it too thin and it fell apart. But if that Lupin flour works even better, then I'll have to give that a shot and see. Maybe I'll make my own little spin on that for you guys. My other problem with Lupin flour is I don't want to trick anybody that's got a nut allergy into eating it, because I'm not 100% sure that it's safe for people with nut allergies. And like things like almond flour, it's pretty obvious that like this has nuts in it. But I was asking the people over at Miracle Flour, which are the ones who I'm kind of working with to start testing Lupin flour, and they said that they would not recommend people with a peanut allergy eating it. So I really have to make sure that if I use it, I'm very clear about that. I don't want to like get anybody hurt or anything like that for allergy reasons. Like I personally have really bad allergies, but they're not food related. If you can, like long story short, I'm allergic to anything green. My sinuses are a problem. I'm allergic to metal. So when I shave, I turn bright red. It's a pain in the butt. I wouldn't want to do that to anybody else. So I'll have to be a little careful there. It's made from beans, Lupin. It's actually made from what they call it a legume. It's very closely related to a peanut or a soy. But yeah, again, I have to do research on it and see how it's classified as an allergen. I'm just going off of what I was told by the guys who make it. But it's worth trying, I think. And yeah, I just bought, I think I have 2 pounds of it downstairs. So it's definitely something I'm going to be trying with lately, or I guess in the future. Have you tried anything else with it other than the noodles? That'd be kind of interesting. I've also heard that it behaves a lot more like flour too. Like you still have to bind it with like xanthan gum or cream cheese. Cream cheese actually works great as a binding agent if you guys are opposed to xanthan gum. And that's you're still gonna have to bind it together. It's not gonna work perfectly like real flour does, but with almond flour, even fine sifted stuff, I feel like it's a bit grainy, and this stuff feels almost like real flour. It's quite awesome. So I'm really excited to try stuff with that. I'm even considering like a macaron, because that's definitely made with almond flour, but that's something I want to put on my list in the future. You haven't been able to find it where I live. Okay, yeah. So let me just see. I don't know where you live, but let me open up a tab real quick. Sorry. And figure out the company that I got it from really quickly. Sorry, I should have been prepared for that. Let's see here. Okay, it was a company called Wholesome Provisions. Wholesomeprovisions.com is where I ordered it from. I'm not sure if they delivered where you're from, but that's exactly where I got mine. They also have like sugar-free chocolate chips, and I got something else from them too. It was a sweetener blend that was like looked pretty interesting. It had all the major keto sweeteners put into one, and I try to blend them myself just so that you guys don't have to go out and buy specialty things from a specific company. But blending sweeteners is super important, so I figured I'd give a pre-mixed one a shot. Let's see. Chef Santa posted his Instagram and YouTube. Appreciate that, buddy. I know Chef Santa's been following me since day one, so check him out. He's awesome. Yeah, Ragnar hasn't been able to find it. Does Lupin flour have a lot of carbs in it? No, it's actually 99% fiber, actually more than 99% fiber. The one that I have, I was looking at the nutrition facts yesterday. There are 12 grams of carbs per serving, of which 11 are fiber. So it's pretty much straight fiber. And that's really cool for like the keto diet, because you're not playing a ton of games. Fiber is fiber. It goes right through you. With certain other things, you're kind of playing a game, like especially with sweeteners, you're playing that, does your body actually digest the game? But the Lupin fiber is great. And at 11 grams of fiber, like that's a good way to get your fiber in if you're having like, gastrointestinal problems or feeling a little backed up. Awesome stuff to try. Let's see. Ragnar says, I can order online, but was kind of hoping to get your opinion before I tried it. I can hold off for now. Yeah, like I said, I just got it in yesterday. If you want, shoot me a message on Instagram if you have it. And I'm actually going to be planning on playing with it this afternoon. I'm going to try a keto cracker using it, because I've tried almond flour and I feel like it gets a little burnt flavor. So I'm going to try a keto cracker with it this afternoon. I'll let you know what I think. Just shoot me a message on Instagram so I remember to respond to you. Santa says, I use Lupin and almond breading. I also made pancakes. They were good. So there's another person who can attest to it. The Lupin flour is good stuff. Get a drink real quick. Anybody just joining us, make sure you head over to my Instagram, Black Sheep Keto. We are doing a partnered giveaway with Enlightened for the National Keto Day and my 30,000 subscribers. So check that out. We are giving away the entire collection. That is all of the pints and all of the bars. All you got to do is head over to Instagram, look at the post, and follow the directions. That is going to be awesome. Let's see. Other things I have planned, guys. So we are using that Lupin Flour. That's a good one. I forgot to mention that. Couple other stuff that I want to try this year is I want to try looking at making an allulose ice cream. That's something that I've been trying to do. Every ice cream that I've made, every ice cream that I've had that's keto, it's kind of got like a harder texture to it, especially homemade stuff. And allulose freezes remarkably like sugar. If you're worried about allulose, guys, I did make that video showing you my blood and ketone levels the whole time for 2 hours after eating 50 grams of it, which is an absurd amount. But I want to do a lot more stuff with that this year because I think that sweetener has a lot of potential, and I feel like it's not getting enough publicity in the keto market right now. And I really want to kind of help bring that to people because erythritol, I'm not a big fan of the aftertaste. Also, if you go to a higher concentration, it doesn't dissolve very well. Like if you're trying to make a simple syrup, once it cools down, it'll recrystallize. Stevia is good, but too much has a really bad aftertaste. I feel like allulose is just one of the best sweeteners out there. So I'm trying to do more stuff with that because it's quite frankly the best sweetener I've had. I know it's a little bit hard for people to find. Like I get a lot of comments from my viewers in Canada saying they can't find it out there. And I think that's a demand-based thing. So I think using it more and getting more attention around it is a good thing. But you can swap it for whatever sweeteners you want if you can't find it. I just want to see that really become a mainstream thing. When I started keto in 2015, I couldn't even find Swerve at Whole Foods. So I think allulose is going to be one of those things that as I use it more, people will start to carry it more. And if I can help make that happen, I'll be happy. Next comment, what is your favorite meal to make and eat? Shoot. Well, you guys know I'm a big fan of barbecue. I bought that Traeger, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I know they are insanely expensive, but that is probably my favorite thing I've ever bought for keto. It's I use it all the time, and for me, brisket is hands down the best. I went to my butcher about a month or two ago, and we got Wagyu brisket, which is like absurdly expensive usually, but he gave it to me for $7 a pound, and I got 20 pounds of it. So it's about $140, and a bunch of friends over, and we smoked that. And I swear Wagyu brisket has ruined brisket for me forever. I mean, the barbecue in Austin is awesome, but if I could find a place that made a Wagyu brisket, I would take that any day of the week. Now I live in Las Vegas, so we don't have good barbecue out here. So it's not hard to like surpass what I can find around here, but I'm trying to hold myself up to that like Texas standard. Let's see. Have you tried that Zoom? I bought some and I hate it. Let me see. I haven't tried it. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest with you, Santa. Zoom video conferencing, is that what you're talking about? Or I don't know. Let me know what that is. I'm not really sure. I plan on getting allulose very soon. I can't wait to try caramelizing it. Yeah, that's like my favorite thing about it is it caramelizes just like real sugar. I even made like a corn syrup out of it. So things that you need a corn syrup for, you basically just, I have to remember the exact ratio. If you look at my pecan pie recipe, you'll see it. I have it written down. I figured out like the perfect way to turn it from a solid into a very viscous liquid like corn syrup, which is really cool. But yeah, it caramelizes. If you'd have gone past the point of corn syrup, it'll do that. I've actually made like candied pecans and candied nuts using it as well, which is super awesome. I've never been able to do that on keto. Let's see. Kristen says, hi, I love what you do for us. Thank you. No problem, guys. I really love doing this and, helping other people really kind of makes my day. That's why I do this. I know YouTube at some point can become, very lucrative and people do it as a career, but I'm not at that point. And I just do this because, I'm a guy who lost 125 pounds when nothing else worked. And I found keto back, when it was in its infancy in like 2015. It hadn't really blown up yet. And I wanted to try to get the word out there. So, if I'm helping any of you guys out, like that really, it's my way of paying it back. And I'm really happy to do it. It's a lot of time and a lot of energy, but when I meet you guys at expos and stuff like that, it really just makes it all worth it, especially when I get, messages saying, hey, I followed what you've said. I followed your recipes. I've lost 100 pounds. I've got a guy I'm coaching right now. He's down over 120 pounds. I think it is now. He was 435 at his biggest. And yeah, he's got a little ways to go, but geez, that's just like, I can't even describe how that makes me feel to know that I've helped change someone else's life. Let's see. If lupin is made from beans, isn't it inflammatory? That's a good question. Like I said, I've got work to do on that, and it really just depends on what your definition of keto is. Some people will say, keto is doesn't apply to anything that's inflammatory. Some people say soy is not keto. Like, it really depends on what you're restricting as an ingredient. Like, that's the thing with keto is everybody does it differently. Some people just like, hey, if the carbs are low and I'm in ketosis, I'm on a keto diet, and my life has kind of changed a lot. At one point in my life, I was very strict on keto, like anything inflammatory, anything GMO. I was like, no, I can't have that. And then I realized like the little bit of like more efficiency in keto that I get for doing all that crazy stuff is not worth the like extra, like, I don't know, it's not worth the extra effort I found. Like, there's a law of diminishing returns that occurs. But yeah, there's certain things I avoid. There's certain things other people avoid. Things that cause inflammation are definitely on that list for some people, especially if it's a medical thing. But for some people that are just trying to lose weight, they don't really care about that. So I'll definitely research that and mention it in the video, depending on or any video that I use, that if it does turn out to cause inflammation. But it really just depends as a person and as a keto dieter what you are trying to get from keto. Is it, all of the other health benefits? Is it just weight loss? Are you on it for medical reasons? They all have like their own different way of doing keto. Let's see. I want to make my own keto syrup for my chaffles. Yeah, you can do that. Just get maple extract. It's pretty awesome stuff. It's pretty cheap. You just mix that in with your allulose syrup, and you'll have an awesome keto maple syrup. Hi, Tom. What is your opinion on resistant starch? I want to see more research. There are some things that show that it is, does nothing for you. There's some stuff that shows that it will actually increase your blood sugar a lot. I think that's a hard thing when it comes to stuff that's keto is there isn't a lot of research, and you're looking at like 2, 3, 4 studies, and some of them have conflicting information. I'd really have to get a hold of it myself and test it on me. But just because it works for me doesn't mean it'll work for everybody else. Right now, I'm okay with it in moderation. Like, if I see it in something, I might try it and see how I feel. If I feel like, it's going to knock me out of ketosis, I won't try it. I won't have that product again. It really just depends on you and your body. Give it a shot is what I say. And, check your blood ketones, see how you feel from it, and go from there. There's a lot of different things that qualify as a resistant starch. So sometimes it actually depends on what it actually is. Let's see. Thought on apple sugar. It claims to be keto friendly. I haven't tried it. Haven't heard about it. I'd kind of doubt it. Like, I've seen coconut sugar, which, I'd imagine it's pretty similar to apple sugar. Not the source, but in terms of what they're actually extracting, and that's not keto. I'll have to look into that. Let me pull that on my list of stuff where's a pen? Stuff to look into. I've never heard of apple sugar. Again, the problem is nowadays we're getting into a keto market where it's profitable and people will put keto on anything. Shoot, I just saw like an infomercial last night for, was it South Beach, that is now keto friendly. Like, they're just slapping it on everything. So be very careful with that. Definitely Google the glycemic index if you can find it. Sometimes that is very difficult to do. Like, things like soluble corn fiber is so new that there isn't really a recorded glycemic index that I can find. So just check it out. If you want to, maybe what I'll do is I'll get some of that and I'll eat a bunch of it and test my blood sugar and ketones, kind of like I did with the allulose, and go from there. Sorry, it's called swoon. Bad aftertaste, not Zoom. Okay, let me see. Do you know what that's made of? Let me see. There was another one that I was trying to get a hold of. Let me pull up my list. Sorry, guys, I'm like really unprepared for some of these things. There was a new sweetener that had come out, and somebody had messaged me about it, and it's super expensive at the current moment, which is why I haven't started using it. But it's something that I wanted to get my hands on. Let's see, what was that called? Boca Sweet. It's a Kaboka extract. I've heard really good things about it, but per pound, it is insanely expensive. So I want to get a hold of some of that, see if it's worth that extra money. To me, there are things that are worth the money and there are things that aren't. And, if it is, cool. If not, it's not. I also bought some cassava flour. I know it's higher carb, but I don't plan on using much. We'll combine with other flours. Excited to see how that improves my breads. What do you think of cassava flour? So I personally don't use it. This kind of goes back to like everybody does keto differently. If that's what you do, man, and it works for you, like, hell yeah, you're kicking ass. Like, there's no reason to say that if you're in a state of ketosis, you're on a ketogenic diet. There are optimum ways to do it. There are sustainable ways to do it. There are a million ways to do it. But in my book, as long as you have ketones in your blood that were created naturally, you are on a keto diet. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's a little higher in carb, but if it works and that's what's going to help you stay on keto, because, it makes your bread, that much better and you want to eat that bread because of it, that's all good in my book. It really just depends on your personal goals and what it takes to actually keep you on keto. But yeah, personally, I don't use it. Reason being, I'm a recipe creator. So when I use things that are like questionable for some people, I get a lot of blowback on it because I need to make recipes that are generically keto. And anytime I use things that aren't, yeah, I get a little bit of blowback, but I always make sure to say it. Like sometimes I've used black soybeans. They are the only beanie type thing that has pretty much no carbs in it. And some people will fight me on that, but I use them from time to time. It is what it is. Cassava flour is one of those things where if I use it, I'm going to get pushback on it. So I try to avoid it. But if you find that it really improves the texture or taste of something, I might consider it and just put like a little note like, hey, if you don't want to use this, why don't you swap it for a little bit more almond flour or, whatever the case may be. Let's see. I've tried Lupin Flour once and it was very dry. Would love to have a decent recipe that uses Lupin Flour. Yeah, that can happen with keto baked goods. You have to do stuff to kind of keep them moist. I haven't played with it too much, but I suspect it probably takes on a lot of water, similar to how coconut flour does. I don't know if you've ever noticed that when you put water with coconut flour, it just soaks up a ton of it, much more than like almond flour would. So you end up using less coconut flour than you would almond flour. I suspect it's a very similar thing with the Lupin flour, but I will figure that out this afternoon when I try to make those crackers out of it and see what happens. How do you stay keto when traveling or visiting someone's house and they spring on you? Hey, I just ordered a pizza. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit tricky. So I travel a lot for work. I've ended up in countries that don't speak English, and sometimes you can make it work, sometimes you can't. I've been stuck in the middle of China where I'm pointing at a menu and just hoping that it's like something edible. And yeah, there's just no way I'm going to actually be able to do it there. Sorry, give me a second. When it comes to going over to somebody's house, we run into this a lot. A lot of my friends aren't keto and we'll go over there. And yeah, I've had that actually happen last week. They ordered a bunch of pizza. Usually what we'll do is we'll just get wings. I'll pay for it or, whatever. We'll just have them order some buffalo wings. As long as they're not the breaded ones, you're pretty good with those. And it gives you something to eat and it doesn't make you feel awkward just standing around there. Some people will rip the toppings off the pizza and just eat that. And that's a viable option, but I just feel really weird doing it. So I don't. But yeah, things like that I'll just order in. Other people that aren't keto and they you come to their house and they make something from scratch and you're not sure what's in it. Sometimes I just bite the bullet, to be honest with you guys. They went out of their way to do something nice for me. Personally, I'm not on this because I'm fighting cancer or have epilepsy. I do this for weight loss and for just general health. And I know that one meal is not going to kill me. It will drop my ketone levels. I've tested myself to figure out where I actually get knocked out of ketosis. One meal ain't going to do it for me. So I'll just bite the bullet. They made something for me because I came over. I'm going to be respectful and eat it. And that's just that. I'll just get back to keto as soon as I get home and it'll act like it never happened. Let's see. Your keto baked beans recipe is how I found you. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. That's one of my favorites. Not a lot of people have tried to do that. And actually that's one I think I used allulose in too. But yeah, not a lot of people have tried to do that because they didn't want to catch the blowback on the soy in there. But I personally love those black soybeans. And if I'm going to a barbecue, and you guys know me, I love the barbecue, having those as a side dish, on the 4th of July, I've given those to people. They didn't even know they were keto. It's freaking awesome. But yeah, much appreciated, man. I'm glad you found me. And thank you for the support, joining in this live feed, subscribing, all that fun stuff that you've done, guys. I really appreciate all of that. If anybody has ideas on things that you want me to make, go ahead and drop them in the comments over here too, guys. I'm very curious about the stuff that you want to see. Sometimes I make recipes and I'm just man, this is the coolest thing ever. My subscribers are going to love this. And it's no views. It's okay, well, I made those gingerbread cookies and I know it was the holidays, but I was wow, these are awesome. People are going to love it. And then I was oh, I guess not. That happens time to time, but I want to make things that you guys actually really are looking for. Which is why I added that section to my website where you can request a recipe. I'm always looking in the comments for stuff like that because, at least then I know somebody's looking for it. And odds are if one person's looking for it, a ton of people are looking for it. So that's always a cool option there. I feel like I'm talking so much. I have to drink a lot of water and coffee and stuff. In any case, guys, yeah, so I just want to hop on here one more time for those of you guys just joining in. We have announced the giveaway for this year, for National Keto Day and my 30,000 subscribers. It is on Instagram at Black Sheep Keto. You'll find the first post there. It has all the instructions. We're giving away an entire Enlightened Keto collection that is all of the pints and all of the bars. Just check it out on Instagram and follow the directions there, and I will announce it at 8:30 p.m. tonight. They only gave me one day. Sorry, guys, if you're watching this in the recap, but that's what we had to do. Other things going on with me, guys. I've actually honestly been doing really well with keto lately. I I honestly really don't cheat too much anymore unless it's the holidays or I'm at someone's house or those kind of stuff. I just find that food doesn't taste right. I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced that, but it's like you go there and like you have this grand idea of what this used to taste like, and then you eat it and you're like, wow, that was disappointing. Wasn't worth it at all. So I've been doing really good with that. Obviously, I stayed keto through this whole bulk. I put on a ton of muscle, which has been really great for me. And I'm very excited, to spend the next 6 months cutting and trying to see really what my physique's going to look like. So I'm going to update you guys periodically on that. I'll probably update Instagram more, just because I found that doing like the weight loss videos, like the every week update of my weight, is a little bit tricky, and sometimes you don't see it in a week. And I'll probably do a transformation video at the end of it. But if you guys are interested in my week over week progress, check out my Instagram. I'll post progress there, and maybe a few times through this cut, I will do it there. But I am stretching this one out quite a bit. Usually when I've done cuts for the summer, it's only been like 12, 15 weeks, something like that. But because I've worked so hard to put on the muscle mass this year, I want to take it slow. That way I don't lose much of that. So it's probably going to be, I'm going to be in this deficit for probably 8 to 10 months. And I'm pretty sure that NACA will be in, or there will be one in October in Dallas again. So if it is that, or if that is the case, then I am going to fly to Dallas and compete in my first physique show this year, which is like super terrifying. But also going from a morbidly obese dude to like stepping on a physique stage is like a huge goal of mine. And that should happen this year. Looks like we got a couple more comments. Martha says, hello, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys. It's 2020, officially the start of a new decade. So what are you going to do with this decade? Remember that, guys. You got 10 years to make it happen. But let's start with this first year. Take it one step at a time. Get your weight loss in control and then move on to the rest. Olivia says, what are you looking forward to most this year? Keto-wise or otherwise? Otherwise, I'm getting married in June. So like that's pretty big. I mean, I should only do that once in my life. So that's pretty exciting. Keto wise, God, I'm looking forward to KetoCon, guys. It was probably one of the best experiences in my life. I left that place going like, I'm going to make a video every day. Like you meet people and you just get so excited for this diet. You learn new things and you're just like, holy cow, like that actually exists. I mean, when I was at KetoCon, I was listening to Danny Vega talk, and he was talking about using glycine as a sweetener, which is an amino acid if you're not familiar. So now I'm going, holy cow, I can make all these like sweet carnivore desserts, and like came home and started playing with it. And yeah, that place is the most inspirational place for me to go. And I'm super excited for that in terms of the keto field. And again, not keto field. I'm getting married, so you gotta, rank that pretty high. Let's see. Mark says, way to go. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Lady Devil Dog says, congratulations on your upcoming nuptials. Thank you, guys. That's appreciate that. It's a big step. We've been together 10 years now. So it's about time we got married. But, I'm only 25 years old. She's only 25. So we had plenty of time to make that decision. And it kind of just turned into one of those things where now is a good time. We're out of college for 5 years now. We've both got our careers in a good place. And quite frankly, weddings are expensive and we can afford to do it now. So I'm very excited for that. And she pops on the channel from time to time. If you guys haven't seen it, I think she was in a video, was it like 2 days ago? Something like that. It was the best things we ever bought for keto. But I'll try to get her on the channel a little bit more. She's actually an Instagrammer at Burgers and Bikinis. It's linked in the description too. If you guys are curious about what she does, I know there's a lot of women that follow me, and sometimes having a woman's perspective is pretty awesome. So her Instagram's down there for you guys if you are ever curious. And if you leave a comment directed at her, I can ask her and reply to it too, even on YouTube. Let's see. Santa says, congratulations. Thank you, guys. June is going to be the best month ever. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing we mentioned. So both those things that I'm super excited for happen like within rapid succession of each other. We're getting married on June 4th. And then we got to be in KetoCon, depending on when meetups and stuff are, the 10th or the 11th. So we're actually delaying our honeymoon to go to KetoCon, which thankfully both of us are really like in love with the keto industry and love what we do. Otherwise, that would probably be a problem for most people. But yeah, we're getting married and then immediately packing up and leaving for KetoCon, which I guess that's kind of a cool honeymoon. Last year, I spent my 25th birthday at KetoCon. So I guess it's just going to be one of those things where KetoCon's like a celebratory event for us every year. Let's see. Martha says, I'm getting back in keto, staying focused. Yeah, that's the big thing. You just got to focus on those goals and, they'll happen for you. It's all a mental game. That's the hardest thing with weight loss is it's up here, and people have a serious problem with food. Like I had a real addiction to food. When something would upset me, like that would definitely caused me to eat a lot more and caused me to just kind of go on a bender and just binge eat a bunch of crap. So yeah, focusing on your goals is a huge thing, and just overcoming the mental struggle. Physically, like weight loss is like super, super simple. I mean, the numbers make sense. You do this, you do this, you do this, you are going to lose weight. It is probably the simplest thing you can do, but it is not easy. It is a very hard thing to focus on and a very hard thing to do for an extended period of time. So if you fall off a couple of times, don't worry about it. Like, just get back on there, refocus yourself, get those goals in mind again, and just let it happen. Like, it'll work. Trust the process. But yeah, it's not easy. Olivia's comment on there. It's going to be a badass honeymoon. Yeah, we're gonna honeymoon in KetoCon, and we're also bringing a buddy of ours with us this year. I've tried to bring somebody to kind of help me with the camera work everywhere we've gone recently. And the guy I was talking about earlier that I've coached through losing over 100 pounds, he's actually coming out with us, and he's going to work my camera. And I'm really trying to convince him to start a keto channel and stuff like that, because his story is really interesting. And probably one of my best friends in the world too. Like, he was at the Route 91 festival with us, so we kind of have that thing that helps us out together. I know. And then, with his weight loss, I've been coaching him, and I've known him since he was 435 pounds, and seeing the guy now, like, we were at Disneyland and a few years back, and like, he was able to fit, or I guess it was about a year ago, he was able to fit in the rides a lot better, because previously he couldn't. Like, there's things like just seeing this guy's life change. I really want him just to start an Instagram and talk about how like restricted he was and how much things have really changed for him losing weight, because I think that's very inspirational. Same thing that like Gourmet Goes Keto does. Guys like that, I think they really just inspire those people who kind of have lost hope. Let's see. Do you have a vision board to stay focused? Or no, I really don't. Like, I've gotten to the point where I just kind of have this idea of what I want to accomplish, and I really just plan. That's kind of how I do things. It's like, all right, what am I eating today? I've already got it in my phone. What we're eating for the week, I've already got that set up. My workouts, I've got set up for the next 6 months. I don't really look at things like, here's like the vision, here's like what I need to focus on, and this is going to give me inspiration. I just have made this a habit to where, okay, I look at what I'm doing and I go do it. And I know that sounds very boring and lame, but it's the only way that works for me. If I don't plan, I'm going to go do whatever I want. And even if I have that thing to look at and say, hey, this is what I'm aiming for, yeah, I feel like it just works better if I have it planned and I know exactly what I'm doing. Let's see. Yeah, totally mental. Unfortunately, hubby had a heart attack in April, so went on a stress eating. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully he's all right. So, heart attacks are, sometimes they take people, but usually the medical attention is pretty good nowadays, and they can fix all that. But yeah, stress eating because of something like that, I totally get it. It's a very tragic time in your life, and very stressful, because you don't know if it's going to happen again. We've had family members that have had heart attacks recently, and you're just like, yeah, you're a little freaked out. You don't know if one's coming back or what to do. So yeah, I totally get that. But getting back on it, I hopefully you've gotten all that taken care of. You can refocus and get your goals taken care of. Santa says, I've seen a guy do a clear lemon meringue pie last night on YouTube. I'm in the process of changing it to keto. What's a good gelatin to use? I like beef gelatin. Gelatin's gelatin, really, from my experience. But I like beef gelatin just because I know the source of it. And I also just have a bunch of it because years ago, there's a gal who makes cookies. And she posted something about using it in cookie recipes. And I think a lot of people have picked it up from there too. I think Keto Connect does it. A bunch of people use beef gelatin in their cookies. So that's just the one that I've been keeping on hand lately. I used it, was it last night, for a thickening agent in the soup. Because I wanted a nice thicker chicken soup. There's a lot of things you can use it for, but beef gelatin is definitely a way to go. Then it says, I had a heart attack and that's why I'm on keto. I did not know that about you, man. That's well, I'm glad you made it. That's a scary thing, but yeah, I guess keto does wonders. Actually, Olivia's dad had a heart attack, and he started keto shortly after that too. So that's a pretty common thing for people to turn to keto after having, and it's kind of counterintuitive because you look at the American Heart Association, they really hate us, but I've heard a lot of good things, and if it works for you, I mean, it works for you. Well, we've been running here for about 49 minutes. If anybody just joined in, make sure you head over to Instagram, check out the latest posts. We are giving away the entire Enlightened Keto collection, all the pints, all the bars, everything. I'll take a few more questions, but probably within the next few minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. So if you guys have any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in the comment section now. I'll get through them, and then I'll let you guys get on with your Sunday. And happy National Keto Day. Let's see, we got a couple of them. Lady Devil Dog, I have been very sick for a long time, getting better on keto, had cancer, type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia, PTSD, etc. Keto has changed my life. Yeah, that's That's a list of things there. That's crazy. So, I mean, I'm glad you're getting through all of that. Yeah. Cancer, type 2 diabetes, all that stuff. Yeah. You're a fighter. Congratulations on overcoming all that and getting better. I'm glad that, keto is helping you out. I've heard a lot of stories about keto changing your lives. PTSD sucks. I suffer from it. The whole Route 91 thing still got me screwed up. That you see things there that you never want to see again. The flashbacks are awful. I've heard great things about keto for PTSD. I wouldn't be able to compare before and after because I was keto when all that went down. But as far as, for PTSD, there's a few people out there. One of them's on the team over at Keto Savage. He had a real bad case of PTSD and used keto to treat it. I'd have to look up his name. If you head over to to Keto Savage, you'll see him all the time. Actually, I think he won NACA this year too. But regardless, that's a pretty common thing. Let's see. Cardiologists love it. Also, I was a diabetic. I'm off of all my type 2 medications. Yeah, that's the great thing with keto. There's something that was said at KetoCon that really rang through to me was type 2 diabetes isn't really it's a self-inflicted thing for most people. It's because you've basically abused your body over the years and you've had a lot of sugar. And at first I heard that and I was like, wow, that sounds really harsh. But then it kind of made sense because it's completely reversible with diet. And there's old textbooks that they were bringing out and showing people that it said the worst thing you can do for a type 2 diabetic is give them insulin. And I was kind of surprised to read that because, I'm not diabetic. I haven't done a lot of research on it, but listening to that talk at KetoCon, I was very surprised with how many cases of type 2 diabetes are just super easily reversed by a switch in the diet and get you off those medications, which, let's be honest, insulin is carcinogenic. So getting off those medications is definitely great for your health if your doctor approves it and you're able to make it happen. Let's see, Martha says, stay strong, everyone, one day at a time. Yep, that is the case, guys. We are 5 years in, 5 days into the 2020. I'm actually thinking that most people are probably going to be starting on Monday. So yeah, if you guys are starting out keto on Monday, good luck, guys. Take it a day at a time, plan your stuff, and everything will be working out. But if there is nothing else, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. It's the first one ever. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been awesome. One last time for those of you guys who are going to be just tuning in or just catching the end of this, I am giving away an entire Enlightened Keto collection. That is all the pints, all the bars, all that fun stuff. It is at my Instagram, at Black Sheep Keto. Just follow the instructions, and the winner will be announced tonight. A couple more comments just came in. Hey, I got to go. Take care of, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy. God bless and enjoy life. Thank you, Chef Santa. I appreciate that. You as well. Martha says, glad you're doing well, Chef Santa. I agree. Jeanette says, thank you. Lady Dog says, keto is definitely reversing my type 2 diabetes. I had to educate my docs. Yeah, that's a common thing there too, is that a lot of doctors aren't educated on keto yet. And, thankfully it's becoming a real thing because I was worried it was going to be one of those fads that faded out, but it legitimately changed my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. But there's a lot of expos now that are actually focused on doctors. One of them is Low Carb USA. They have medical certificates and stuff where they educate doctors. So there's some really cool stuff coming out to help educate doctors. And I think as this new generation of doctors kind of rises through the ranks, you're going to see more willingness to accept it. That's just kind of, I find that older doctors sometimes aren't as willing to accept new information, but sometimes they are. So hopefully that education gets better out there. I lost 45 pounds in 1 year on keto. Awesome. That is, or 75 pounds. Sorry. 75 pounds in 1 year on keto. Yeah, that's awesome. That's about, that's a good amount of weight loss. A lot of people, they try to take it too fast and they'll try to go lose 200 pounds in a year. And if you don't have that kind of weight to lose, it's not great. But yeah, 75 pounds in a year, that's really impressive. Congratulations. Let's see. Lady Luck, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, Martha. All right. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and close out this live stream now. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is probably going to be the first of many. We've been going for about, 53 minutes now. So I've taken up a lot of your guys' time, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you like this video, guys, even in the recap, just give it a like. It really helps me out a lot. If you want to subscribe, guys, I really appreciate that. I'm going to be coming out with a ton of recipes, a ton of new review videos, whole bunch of stuff planned for this year. And have a great 2020. Happy National Keto Day. And I will catch you guys in the next one.